is time for the battle of the ones, as we have got Wham 1 versus Szalami 1. But who will be number 1 in this game? Let's find out. As we hop in, it is going to be here on Highview. And an interesting matchup in Highview, actually. I don't remember the last time I saw Mongol versus Abbasids on this map. Mongol seemingly just everyone stopped playing them. Like, we've seen how bad they've been doing in M4C from a statistics standpoint. And even on the ladders, I don't know if it's just everyone got bored of like how broken they were, and if they got nerfed, they're like, I guess they're kind of doggy poo-poo now, move on, don't care. Like, maybe that's the kind of feel of it, because that does happen, right? Like, if you are non-stop playing this Civ and has been broken for a long time, you see it's nerfed, suddenly you're just like, good. And you just don't want to touch it again. I'd say Mongols are still somewhat decent, but there's definitely, with the upcoming changes on the test servers, especially around the siege creep, the ability to build siege weapons in the field being like slowed down, I think is going to hurt the Mongols a lot further, and they might struggle to be this kind of tempo set in the early game that they once were. And that might be a problem when you're up against a Civ like the Abbasids, because the Abbasids definitely are this type of Civ that if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, right? We've seen Abbasids are by far the easiest Civ to quickly go into multi-TCs due to fresh foodstuffs. Once you crack Feudal, once you get access to that tech and you're able to reduce the cost, discount your villages down to 25 food, there is no Civ in the game that is able to actually float the eco required for 2 TCs as quickly as the Abbasids. It's statistically true, right? Because while you could argue that X Civ or Y Civ can gather the initial resources quicker and drop a TC, they're going to struggle after that to keep like the scaling going while accruing enough resources to produce villages out of 2 TCs initially. Because they'll be paying 100 food when the Abbasids are paying 50. And Abbasids just so much quicker getting that House of Wisdom out now. I love the noise they make when they're done. Aha! We have discovered wisdom. It's instantly 4 people on a food, so heavy onto it. And interesting detail here. Notice that Wham did not go onto the berry bushes. This is intentional against a Mongol player. This isn't him forgetting that he can gather on berries. I think this is him paranoid about gathering on berries. And it's interesting as well because Mongols, despite all the nerfs, this is the one kind of like X factor they can still have, the scare factor, is that there aren't many civs that could threaten at this stage to arrive in your base and raid you. Mongols are one of them though, right? With the outpost potential still being there, although it's a bit more costly, and the easy like accruing of initial spearmen via a Rax drop, there is a paranoia playing against this Civ, and I think that's exactly why Wham doesn't go instantly out into the berries, because usually what I actually suggest to players is even if they do think they're going to get raided, you should initially go into the berry patch because it's such a good gather rate, and then you fall back to the sheep underneath your TC as your safe resource once you get raided. But of course, not just the time with the Mongols, the other paranoia for Wham and why he didn't instantly go here is even if he did get forced off, depending on the placement of his mill, it could get burnt. Should it get burnt, it's not only just a minus 50 deficit for you in terms of resource investment, it actually becomes a plus 50 for your opponent as they get 25 food and 25 gold. And opening-wise, the interesting part is actually, like, Sky, aka Szalami. I should point out, by the way, this is Szalami, just in case no one had clocked that yet from the introduction. He kind of played off this threat factor, right? Like, he didn't rush to get vision on his opponent's base. He didn't go into the racks. Instead, he just benefited blindly from the expectation Wham had. And what this comes back to is the fact that Wham only went for 1 scout. And this can be a big mistake. I think a lot of Civs fall in privy to this trap, especially like things like the Abbasids. Usually, a lot of the time, it feels like a lot of people have gone back from doing the secondary scout to just keeping the 1 unless they're up against Roost players. And it does feel like a kind of misstep because, honestly, guys, vision is king, right? Scouting wins games or loses them if you don't do it. And I think like spotting out this lack of military infrastructure early on, which is only now going to be revealed at 4 minutes in the game for Wham, might have actually informed him to go into the berry bushes earlier. He has now dropped it there, and he is actually starting to get in the wheelbarrow. After he sees this, like, he should really be shifting these villagers across onto the berry bush line. Because right now, he's going to drain all of his sheep, and then he has to go out into this more, like, delicate area. Of course, if he gets a Rax down, it's not the end of the world, but my concern is right now, you don't even know if you can go Rax, because unless you keep vision in your opponent's base, unless you hang around in the back, you're not going to know whether he's going into archers, horsemen, spearmen, and you need that information before you make your move. So, tech ups on both sides, complete. Stone being gathered. Wham, looks like one of the workers is, I don't know, he's a foreman now. Everyone else came back from their coffee break, but he got lost. He went to the bathroom. He'll finally get to work on that. So, it's going to be 7 people working on the stone. He really wants a quick timing. And he should be able to achieve it. I mean, he's actually got enough people on the wood as well, so this should be cracked pretty quickly. Khan is going to be a little bit annoying in the meantime. Remember, doing 4 damage now that it's up in fuel age. And no textiles coming out just yet from Wham. Instead, Wham will go for a second scout very late here. And it's interesting he's doing this because he hasn't lost the other scout yet. So I assume this is just to chase down the Khan, but it's not very effective, remember. Like, it'll last a while because, you know, you'll heal over time as you get shot at. And you will be able to chase him away. But that's it. I do think this is the reason, though. He's stopping off for the scout for the sole reason that he wants to get rid of this Khan instead of having, like, several villagers limping around on, like, 10 HP where they could easily be assassinated by 1 or 2 horsemen. So, yeah, he'll do this now. And this is the important detail, guys. Every shot that comes in, like, you're negating about half the damage almost, because you passively heal the scouts. And whenever you get close to dying, you just pull away, and then the Khan can't actually catch up to you. You can maneuver arrow to kind of gap close, but then you once again just threaten and turn around him. Also, this is very effective on this map specifically, just because of the vision deficiency, right, around these stealth forests. It is something that can be mitigated by Szalami in this game because, of course, you have the power of the Falcon as the Mongols. But it's situational. It doesn't last forever. As you can see, you only get vision over the area for 30 seconds. I say only as if 30 seconds isn't a lot of time. And second TC going down. It's going to secure another berry bush on the side. So I like this position actually from Wham. A lot of people play incredibly condensed with their TC placement as the Abbasids. And I think if you aren't at threat of being raided, which because of the scouting vision he attained, remember we talked about the importance of this, he knows he's not going to be raided, then you need to exploit this spread factor. It's not just about the fact that, like, oh, you know, it's going to protect this extension, this new berry bush line. It's the fact that actually what it's doing is it's allowing you to send out to new gather lines quicker. If you have all your TCs in one location and you drain that initial area too quickly, all of a sudden you have a lot of idle time when new villages produced, moving out to your further away eco lines. But should you split your TCs like this, all of a sudden they're not draining the initial areas quickly, and they expand out from these new networks, right? So it just kind of maximizes the efficiency of your economy long-term as well. Meantime, scouts around the back are going to start to burn this. So I like this choice by Wham. He's got 2 scouts on the front. He pushed the Khan back. He's being harassed a little bit, but Stable's coming out. And the time on this is really good because it means he'll get his first horseman out before any real pressure comes onto his villager line. And it means he'll be able to push away the Khan and force him to uncomfortably use the arrow because remember, the horsemen move quicker and do bonus damage to the Khan. In the meantime, he uses the scouts to good value, burning down this Uvu, forcing a reaction. But the reaction is one of greed out of Szalami. And this is something Wham knows, which is why he's just trying to min-max what he can do in the meantime. While Wham has sidesteps, he's gone horizontal, Salami's going up. Because you'll have the eco advantage, yes, for the moment, but Salami's going to even that up because despite the fact the eco count will be in your favor as it already begins to scale that way, the difference maker is the fact that the Mongols now get the step readout with that 50% additional drop-off, boosting their economy higher than the Abbasids at this stage in the game. And it will stay that way for probably 4, 5 more minutes. And in that time, Wham, like, he has to make the choice. Do I go ultra greedy? Do I build a strong feudal force and try and pressure my opponent? Can I pressure my opponent? Because if he gets into a stable and drops 2 or 3 lances quickly, all of a sudden this composition of archery range and stable that would have been spotted out by Szalami becomes moot and irrelevant. Mill was dropped, so you, of course, remember, folks, you have to drop this mill if you want to double up the berry bushes, otherwise you're going to get half the value. The scouts doing some decent damage. The concern here is this Uvu is so close to base that the villagers can move out to repair, and that's why the horseman being here is a more important detail. These horsemen with 2 armor can dive in TC range and harass the villagers as well. And look at that. Oh, the Khan, big mistake there. Gets out of range just in time. Very hard to kill this Khan, remember. Up to 300 health now. And the villagers just sitting there repairing. This is what I was talking about. This becomes frustrating. Like, you really need to address it before the Lancers come out. And the problem is you're not going to be able to address it in time. This Uvu will survive long enough, even if you move on to the villager now. There you go. So he harasses him away for the moment, but now he's not attacking it anymore. He realizes it's pointless. Right now, actually, the thing that Wham needs is he needs to sort out his tech timing. And that's why he's prepping for it. Notice he doesn't go ultra greedy. No third TC here. Instead, he's prepping the racks. He's getting the required food and gold, and he's instantly going to look to move up, most likely with the culture wing. Hopefully this gets addressed soon. The devs have talked about the fact that right now, like, the tech order for the Abbasids is really locked in. There's no diversification. I don't remember the last time I saw military wing before Imperial Age. So hopefully the change they're going to make will actually kind of address this issue and we'll get a little bit more flexibility in what players go for in the future. He's sniping the horseman. This is a lot slower for Szalami now. Like, this is another thing that Mongol players are having to readjust to because, like, this doesn't feel as comfortable as it once did, right? You don't assassinate units as quickly as you used to with the Khan because they took a heavy hit to their damage. They used to be at 12 per shot. Now down to 8. A lot of it gets mitigated as well against units like Horsemen. It takes so much longer to kill units now. And I'm glad they've done this. Like, the Khan was ridiculous for that reason. I mean, the Khan's ridiculous for a lot of reasons, but that was definitely one of the big ones at the beginning of Castle. Now this ridiculous factor turns up in your base, and look at this. Camel Archers already coming out from Wham. A surprising but effective solution here. Very tanky unit, reduces the damage of the Lancers by 20%, and these Lancers already taking heavy damage. Damage that they cannot repair, folks. This isn't French Knights. No chivalry in this game. I mean, you know, the Mongols, are they chivalrous people? They marauder, they butcher, they murder? No, they're just here to raid. And he's getting a few more of them out. In the meantime, Spear's already being produced by Wham, so on the defensive. Remember, he can't actually build the man-at-arms yet, so getting initial defense force of Spears out is definitely worthwhile. Nice brace coming out there. Remember, folks, the brace, the way it works is actually if you achieve the brace and the cavalry runs into it, there's an initial stun phase where you can't attack as the spearman that was bracing, and then after that, they're also rooted. Now, the difference being when they're stunned, they can't attack. When they're rooted, they can, but they cannot move away. And the importance of that is it gives you time to stab them once or twice. And this becomes very powerful for the Abysses specifically. And we can see the reason why here is Wham's researching it. It's the Phalanx. It's a fantastic skill. Only 175 resources for this. And it basically, what it does, folks, is it allows you to attack units with double the amount. If you think about it logically, right? Let's say you have a front line bracing. Usually those spearmen will block your second line of spearmen from attacking. However, with Phalanx, they're able to stab past that front line. And it means these Lancers are going to struggle immensely against what's coming Salami's way. Szalami needs to be prepped for what he's going to have to face. And it means he needs to transition. But look what he done! Oh my god, this is such an early second TC. This is one of the most greedy Mongol games I think I've ever seen. And I love it. I actually love it. I can't believe I'm saying it, but think about the issues with Mongols right now. They're not the same dominant force they once were in the early game. Szalami is maximizing that. Instead, what he's doing right now is, with a map like Highview with limited vision and the way that the Abysses play, he's playing off their greed. He's playing off of their assessment, their assumption, right? And you know what they say about assumptions? Assumptions make an ass out of you. And the reason it makes an ass out of Wham is because he's playing against Mongols, he assumes there's going to be a lot of aggression. He assumes he's going to be pressured and feudal. He assumes that his opponent is going to have a lot of military production in the early phase of the game. But no. The only time that Szalami built military was when he was forced to defend himself. And even then, it was limited, right? A few Lancers come out, they raid, they get their impact. In the meantime, he's the fattest mofo in the room. He even goes for the trade now, setting up in the back corner to try and just milk this map to the maximum. And I don't think I have ever seen a Mongol game this greedy. Ever. I swear to God, if he goes for 3 TCs, I'm going to lose my mind. This is ridiculous. I think he also did leverage the trade, right? Yeah, that's the other thing. That's how he was able to afford. I thought it had to be, right? So, like, usually in your economy, one of the issues that Mongol players have is, like, it's very hard to afford because, you know, you need that wood for your siege. You need the wood for the pastures. You can't easily get 900 together. But what you can get is a lot of gold. So instead, he actually boosts himself up the step readout gold gather rate and then trades for the additional wood required to get that additional TC. It's such a phenomenal play out of Szalami. Oh, and Szalami. Well, there's a missed trick here, folks. A little detail for you. Notice he unpacked to try and you know, put this in. You don't have to do that, by the way. You can actually gather relics and drop them in the prayer tent when it's packed up and moving. I kid you not. It's absurd. So, not the most optimal moment for him. Maybe a little trick for even Szalami, the big boy, to learn. But, I mean, he is looking big boy right now. If we look at the income per minute. Wow, he's got the lead at the moment. Because that eco lead, but that eco lead is quickly going to disappear. And really what matters is the gold difference here. The gold difference that's going to continue to escalate as he pushes out his trade units. And there it is. He queues them up. Trade is on the way. Now, the only thing I would say is maybe he could have maximized this by keeping it near the Uvu. If he kept it near the Uvu, he could have got double traders out. But I think the reason he does this is he wants to hide the intent. He doesn't want to reveal what he's doing at the back here. Right? He wants to hide all this info until it's too late. This is so insanely greedy. But the way he's played this greedy is so phenomenally well done. And now Lancers are coming out for Wham. So Wham riding around the back. In the meantime, looks like Wham is going to be moving across to secure some relics for himself as well. Doesn't want to be left out on that side of things. However, he's only going to get one. Look at this move. Everything about Szalami, the greed, he's done it so quickly, he's going to get 4 of the relics. There's no way that Wham can get that second one. And in fact, he's being raided. And he needs to be careful at the backside here. If he gets spotted on this berry bush line, it's going to spell catastrophe for him. But it looks like, actually, Szalami's a bit paranoid. And respect where respect is due. Szalami, he's still got a decent amount of lancers coming out. He hasn't fully sacrificed his military tempo. He knows he needs to set some sort of standard in the midfield. He needs to show face value to Wham, so Wham doesn't just assume that he's being this greedy. And by the time Wham realizes it, it might be too late to do anything about it. At the moment, Wham will take that initial good trade. Man-at-arms now moving out, and that is the trade that will not be good for Wham. Backs away just in time. The Lancers needs to be careful, actually, here. And we're starting to see one of those fragile issues, right? When you run cavalry and you don't have a scout, look how much you're crippled. Look at your vision right now. It's even harder on high view, but think about what you could have potentially revealed. Like, when he wraps around here, he would have spotted the trade. However, if he doesn't go right next to this trade post, he will not see the traders coming in at any stage. Meantime, Monastery rolling away. Like, get me out of here. And he will get out of there quickly. Movement speed booster coming out from the arrow was good enough. Passive income added to the economy. Szalami looking very healthy right now. Only 2 people on gold at the moment because he is ready to go up soon, I think. Oh, actually, no, he's not. Sorry, I'm an idiot. He's just moving the step readout. I heard a noise, and I forgot. That's when the step readout unpacks. I got baited. But I wonder in this game, who's going to look to crack Imperial first? Who can actually afford to? Because Wham is stationing a pretty formidable force right outside of Szalami's base. And Szalami, although he started to transition to man-at-arms, he didn't do it hardcore. But he is getting the Mangonels. Now, this is where this matchup gets interesting, folks. Both sides in this fight can do this. And look at this. Wham! He like says, unzip it, show me what you got. I'll show you mine's bigger. 3 to the 1. However, keep in mind, the Mangonel count is actually more important for Szalami. I think, if anything, Wham needs the Springwards. You're up against a lot of cavalry, so you get kind of diminished value out of the Mangonels. It's hard to actually land a banger of a shot. However, what he has found is a banger of a take at the back of the base, as Wham has spotted out the trade network. And this is frustrating because Szalami had not got value out of it just yet. But now he can just park himself here. And this is annoying. This is actually perfect from Wham. He's holding him hostage. Look at this right now. So he's got a few knights at the back, just standing there, killing traders as they come through. He's saying, respond, Szalami, respond. Because if Szalami does respond at the back, if he pulls his force back there, he's going to expose himself on the southern side. The southern side where Wham has a formidable army standing, waiting to go into the Mongol base. This is so well played. Not enough players think to do this, by the way. The holding hostage, it's underrated. It's so effective. Although, big mistake made by Wham there. Got a bit greedy and did go in the end. But if you just choke your opponent out and you make them make suboptimal choices, like, give them no good choice. Every choice they can make is bad. All of a sudden, this game gets wonky for Szalami. And this maximized greed can come back to bite him in the ass. But it really does come down to Wham trying to play on those 2 fronts. He needs to get a few more Lancers out around the back again. But it looks like he's actually just forgone all Lancer production now. So it is just all static force. But I love this play here. This keep. It could be spotted on the edge. He needs to actually buffer Szalami away a little. Mago shots out. Decent damage on the Khan. Once again, the Springles are going to be a problem here. And the issue you do have is, despite the fact that both of you can be on the field, keep in mind that the Mongols, they're going to move quicker, courtesy of the Yam. That can be the difference maker here. Another one going to be assassinated as he tries to build it. And wow, this is costly. Each one of these lost. And well, this keep play is dangerous because notice this detail, folks. Wham did not get textiles. So 2 Magos could end his day instantly. He'll try for it now. Pushes units back with his spears moving in on the Mangonels. They're exposed. Big mistake made there by Szalami. Holding his ground for the moment. Trying for the shots. Trying for the maximum value, but can't find it. And damage coming his way instead as 3 Mangonels will fire into him. The Spree was pushed way too far back. They can't reach the front line. And the keeper's almost complete. Wham is going to get his foothold right outside Szalami's base. The crossbows in the meantime, looking to clean up the Lancers. Spears moving across, trying to protect the Magos. Keep does go up. And all of a sudden, Szalami in a little bit of trouble here. The map just got a lot smaller. We'll wrap around with the remaining Lancers, at least snipe out a Spree. But at the end of this, Magos stand for Wham. And everything else is gone for Szalami. This is dangerous. This is what I was worried about, folks. This is where the greed to the maximum can backfire. Szalami, he needs to find some wiggle room, a way out of this conundrum he finds himself in now. I don't think one trade is going to do it, bud. He needs something else. He needs a Hail Mary. And really the concern is he doesn't have the infrastructure to rebuild an army quick enough. That's what he's now addressing with the Trip Racks drop in the back. But what's the damage in the meantime? He's going to just pack up the monastery and roll it away before it can be assassinated. Luckily for him, there's not enough range to attack it. Because remember, when you pack these units up, they do not have any missile resistance, so they can die quickly to range fire. But the Magos are moving in onto the TC. The secondary TC, it won't take long. Look at the damage. And this is concern. Textiles this late in, buddy. I don't know if you can get it quick enough. Spirals are going to buffer away the Mangonels, so it looks like for the moment the TC will survive. Szalami has definitely extracted value up to 87 villages now compared to Wham up 103. And this is where he can start to network if he wants. Wham, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still gathering on that stone, because that stone could give him access to a keep crawl, and a keep crawl could just invalidate Salami's posture in this game. Moving in with the Magos. Spirals here as well, scaring away Szalami. Szalami floating a lot of surplus wood and gold right now. Feels a little bit wasted. The whole military force moving in, but remember the danger of this dive, folks. It puts you under the fire of the TCs. It puts you in range of everything. You do need to be careful about this. And he's not. He's peeling the whole army, moving it forward, which means his siege weapons might be exposed to new spawning units. He goes in, looking for the eco lines, looking for the military forces, in onto the Springles, trying to counter them out. And it will give him the edge here, as it looks like there's not enough here for Szalami to defend himself just yet. A lot of AFK workers as well doing nothing in the back of his base, as he tries to repel the vanguard from Wham's army. But the Mangonels, they'll target onto the primary TC. Heavy damage now done here. Spearmen still holding back the main battalion. New troops coming out, but not enough to be able to burn down the Magos quick enough. The Spearmen now trying to wrap around with the Yam moving in. Szalami trying to get on top of him quick enough here. Will gap close. Crossbowman not able to burn through the Spearmen quick enough, and instead the Spearmen will burn through the Mangonels. One down. Second one soon to fall. Damage coming out from the man-at-arms as well. Wham! He pays heavily for his greed, for his gluttony, for his confidence, overconfidence into the back lines. It will cost him dearly, as most, if not all of his siege will be burnt to the ground. Another Mago goes down. Moving on to the final Mago, and that is bang for buck. Szalami, he buys himself a lifeline. However small it may be, he has denied Wham, at least for now. But Wham now renewing. 4 district coming out, siege workshop, archery ranges as well. He realizes he might need trebs to get this done. All right, the only thing right now that Szalami is trebbing on, he's trebbing on a fence right now. A fence that could either see him fall into despair or right into victory. It's a teetered sort of balance. You can see how restricted he is. He has less than a quarter of the map under his control. And that TC, it is on fire. And not in a party manner. Just a smolder and ruins matter as the Molotovs come flying in. It's instantly dead. And there goes your scalability, sir. Not that you'd be able to use it. Not much of the map left for Szalami. We wondered, maximum greed wasn't the way. And it's not looking like it was, my friends. It's looking pretty dire right now if you're a Szalami fan. He's not as much big sausage as he is small wiener right now. That's definitely the energy vibes I'm getting as Wham, he's the big D in this one. So many units coming in. Szalami struggling to replace what he's lost. He's got so much surplus wood and gold, but no way of really spending it quick enough. He hasn't got enough troops to rebuild it. And this is the problem he faces right now. Siege weapons just as quickly being built by Wham. Wham does need to address his wood. And yeah, this is the issue. He hasn't noticed yet. I was about to say, as he moved on to a new wood line, he's got some in the south, but a lot of straggler trees over here. And I don't think he's noticed. He finally realizes that and will shift across to a new lumber camp. And once he gets that influx of new wood, that's when this siege creep will ramp up to 10 for him. If he even needs it. Moves in, forcing the repairs out. Defense force trying to hold next to the primary TC. Szalami can't give this over. It's the only thing protecting his base, but straight into the Magos again. In with the spears, in with the damage. One goes down, second one falls, and all of a sudden they're on top of this Mongol troops. The Mongol troops, they are protected for the moment. The Magos are not coming in range, instead targeting fire onto the TC. And Wham just throwing away troops because he knows he can. And also keep in mind the food. The food is healthy right now for Wham. Look at the numbers. Szalami, the food he gathers comes out of here at his primary TC where all the pastures are located. So as long as you keep pressure here, he cannot replace the troops as quickly as you can. And that's the difference maker here. That's why Wham is confident to keep bodying troops in the way he is. Mago fire coming out. Chase in. Szalami says, it's my turn to do what you just done, mate. But I do it quicker, courtesy of the Yam. villagers even on the front, the yoinking! Wham is just in Salami's base, gathering the berries from underneath his very nose. He says, this belongs to me now, mate. You can't have this. I've got a keep, I've got a full base, I've got meals, I've been taking all your berries. We're vegetarians here in the Abbasid Empire. You guys most definitely not vegetarians. What you are doing to these poor little creatures, you monsters. Don't worry, though. Because Wham is here to be that golden knight, here to slay the monsters in the night, as he will move forward for a keep drop right next to the primary TC. And Szalami is looking like curtains closed soon in this one. So many racks at the back trying to do the business, trying to build as many spears as possible. He doesn't want to go in the man-at-arms because there's so many crossbows in the field. And also, he needs all the gold he can get to build these Magos up. But this keep is going to go up. And after that, Salami's eco count is only going down because he won't be able to produce villagers anymore. And damage in onto that TC down to half HP. He could try for his own version of Merchant Repair by waypointing the villagers out and tapping it with the hammer, but he might just get sniped by Mangonels of fire from the crossbow line. That's the problem. And oh my god, what the hell, Wham? Come on! Don't do him dirty like that. Okay, Wham is not a vegetarian. Wham is literally stealing sheep from right underneath the Mongols TC. I have never seen a game with so much greed on both sides. Oh my god. Well, Wham, I've got to give it to him. He's one of those people. He's like, waste not, want not. Can't let any of this go to waste. Yoink. His villagers are being assassinated, but he just doesn't care. He's like, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this. You can't wall old sheep, but you can definitely take ownership in a different way by harvesting their organs. Oh, good God. What have I just witnessed in this game? And now it's Ram time. Wham says, you've got Yam, I've got Ram. And wait, my name's Wham. It's all coming together. Szalami, Trebs, being built up. His last hope to reclaim his own base. His own base that the Abbasid Empire have migrated into and been stealing from underneath his buildings. And you know what? That's what Wham really came here for. He's like, food, everyone in my kingdom's starving. We're growing too quick. I see you have a lot of sheeps and you're not willing to trade, sir. You keep trading neutrally, not with me. So I've got to address that. And the pack up of the TC's forfeiting it. He'll look to back away. Everything's shifting. The Great Migration. He sees the Rams coming in. He's like, hell no, I don't want any of that. But he might not get this TC redeployed. Look at the Lancer. The Lancer's staying on top of him. He's on fire as well. He needs to kill this. Oh my god. Please tell me he's not going to die to one Lancer. Not one Lancer. Make that 3 Lancers. There's more coming. He needs to repair it. There you go. He'll tap it with the hammers now. He needs to heal it up quickly. They're in with the Lancers, though. And he's not reacting with full force. The crossbows are now moving across, but he can't even replenish his supplies here. He can't even get new villagers out. And meanwhile, Wham will build even more Rams. It's like, no rush for me, buddy. I see you floundering, panicking in the corner. You've just went from a quarter of the map to an 1/8. Maybe even a 10th. I mean, honestly, if this eco booming from Szalami was sending like, you know, big D energy before, now it's sending micro peen energy. If he had like oil tycoon energy before, now he can barely power a light bulb. There's nothing left here. He's not getting the benefits of gold anymore. The step readout is just AFK trying to move to somewhere new, which is very risky, especially when your villager count is draining like this. There's only one woodline left back here. Deer, which, you know, apparently the Mongols are against eating, all right? They only eat kebab. No deer, no venison. He's running out fast. And all of a sudden, Wham's ready to go again. Wham, who says, wait a second, I'm pop-capped. Time to throw away some units. Ah, war. What good population control you are. Crossbows. Counted out somewhat by the spears, but there's a few man-at-arms in there for them to find their value. Spears going through onto the siege line. Spear's trading out in the meantime. Mago's being targeted as well. Not able to assassinate them, though. However, now there are horsemen in the mixer, and uh-oh. Now you have the anti-siege. Now you have the anti-crossbow. Spearmen are going to try to address this, but the difference maker really is the crossbow count. The crossbow count that isn't even in a staggered formation because Wham is miles ahead. And he's about to be further ahead. Imperial Age is almost complete. Szalami has no way of reaching it. Remember, guys, the limitation this whole time has been food. He just started to get that back online with the Pashas pushing out new sheep, but he's miles behind Wham. And Wham even setting up farming area. He's like, there was not enough room in my home, my lord. You had the fertile ground over here. So we'll be taking that as well. He's onto the deer that Szalami wouldn't eat. And I don't know why he hasn't GG'd out of this yet. I mean, you could commend him for his commitment. But he has, like, how much of this is for the memes at this point? How much is Szalami like, how long can I actually survive in this diminished state? I mean, he's definitely not thriving. He's barely surviving. And Wham is just proving that he has a bigger wallet. He keeps throwing bodies at the equation. But I think we've finally reached the end of his tether here. With the Imperial Age advantage, with the military advantage, with every advantage possible under the sun, Wham will close this one out, and Szalami will wave the white flag. Make no mistake, folks. This will go down as one of the greediest games I think I've watched. You had the double TC after a fast castle into trade from a Mongol player, and the Abbasid player gathering food underneath the enemy's CC. I don't think I've ever seen a game like that. That was absurd. I mean, I'll give it to Szalami. He's definitely exploring new strategies. I think we'll put this one under if we'll be in contact where we actually lose your number. I'll give it at least a maybe. There might be something there, but maybe he went to something too far because I think the trade was definitely stretching it a little bit beyond the realm of realism there. And as a result, Wham just kind of chillily goes through as intended, right? Like, just gets his second TC, realizes he doesn't need to be too greedy past that, sees the greed coming out from the Mongol player, and very quick to adjust it, deny it, and realizing, you know what? I've got surplus villagers, so if he's got surplus villagers, the difference is who can gather resources. So if I just go across to his base and take them away from him, I win, right? Sure. Yep, that's how it works, guys. Don't do this in your pub games, please.